G'day and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. This is something you weren't expecting. It's the Hitec Flash 7 and Flash 8 radios. And you think, oh, look at that. Why would anyone buy one of these radios when you've got things like the Taranis and the Turnigy 9X and the 9XR and the 9XR Pro and so many radios out there now which just offer so much feature for such little buck? Why would you buy one of these? And I have to say that I wondered that when I got these for review. And then after playing with them, I realised what you're buying when you buy one of these. And it's actually simplicity. That's what you're getting for your money, simplicity. Now they're a nicely built radio. For a long time, I didn't like Hitec's radio styling. It was full of little grooves and nooks and crannies which would collect the dust and the dirt and the oil, and they were horrible to try and keep clean. This is a much better styling, in my honest opinion, because it's more elegant, it's cleaner, nice clean styling. This radio will look as nice in 3 years' time as it does today. Now take a look initially at the 7. Here's the Flash 7. It has, normal stuff. It's got a little antenna on the top as you'd expect. Doesn't have a module, of course, because this is all built in. It's got Hitec's AFHSS, I think it is, system. I can't remember what they call it. It's got it written on here somewhere. AFHSS. I was correct. Look, it's written there. Yep, it's got that RC system built in, which is frequency hopping, 2.4 gigahertz, uses the same chips as the FrSky, and it's a pretty robust system, seems to work pretty damn well. Now this is 7 channels, so we've got obviously 2 sticks, we've got one 3-position switch up there, a 2-position, 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 and a temporary momentary contact for your throttle cut or your trainer switch. It has paddles on the side, yay. Your 9X doesn't have those, neither does your 9XR, so that's another big bonus, and it's got 2 of them. And they have a nice firm center detent, so no problem there. If you're a glider pilot who wants to do crow braking and things, or flaps, if you just want to use that for your retract so you don't have to take your fingers off and find a switch, they're all really good things. Even pan and tilt on FPV, if you don't want to use head tracking, these sliders are brilliant because you can keep flying without taking your thumbs off the sticks and make those adjustments, make those changes. Really, really useful thing. I wouldn't buy a radio without paddles anymore. You really find it, or sliders as some call them. So that's all the bits. There's a button here too, which I suppose could be, what is it, labelled C. You could use that for throttle cut if you wanted to, momentary contact button. That's about it, really. It's all plastic, there's no rubber. It's all plastic all the way through. And it has, I think the 7 comes with a battery holder. I've just thrown a LIFE battery in there because the software inside allows you to select LF life, LIFE batteries. Allows you to set those so the alarm will go off at the right place. Now, I'll turn it on. The display's nice and big and very clear and legible. I'll turn it up so that you can see, hopefully you can see there. And it has the same thing that Hitec have done ever since they got into 2.4. It enables you to start the transmitter up without transmitting, which is handy, I suppose, if you want to just configure a model memory or play around inside without actually draining your battery through having a transmitting signal on 2.4, or perhaps just cluttering up the airwaves with the 2.4 signal. It isn't necessary. So controls are pretty straightforward. You've got the little jog wheel here, which is pretty similar to the roller on the JR gear and perhaps the Spectrum gear. So you can just select whatever you want, and then it's got this acts as a button as well. So you press that. Oh no, look, danger, Will Robinson. There we go. Now one thing you'll notice, I'll just go through that again. If we look at this Hitec logo up there, when I first turn it on, it's in blue. And if I select I don't want to transmit, it goes to kind of a yellowy orange. Sorry, yellowy green. There you go. So that tells you the radio is not transmitting. If I go through the process again and I choose to transmit, oops, there we go, it stays blue. So now I know the radio is actually transmitting a signal. Now, as I say, this LCD, it's nice and legible, it's backlit, it's good, I've got no problems with that. It works fine. I've got this set up in the FlexiB. I've also used it on the Skipper. And I used it on something else. What was it? I don't know. Can't remember. It's probably in there. So I've used a couple of models with this. Oh yeah, the little boat, the little shrimp boat, all running on this transmitter. And so far it's worked just fine and dandy. Now it's got a ratchet on there. I should change that. Mode 1 or Mode 2. You can change stuff. There are some. Is there? No, there's not on this one. On the other one, yeah, that's one of the. I'll show you the difference between the Flash 7 and Flash 8. The back here, there's really nothing to see. You've got a trainer connector. And there's something else, I don't know what that's for. Anyway, I'm sure you can work that out. Oops, there we go. Just caught up on memory. The other button here is, of course, escape from wherever you are. It takes you back to wherever you're going. I'm not going to go through the menu options. Suffice to say, I managed to set up all the models without looking at the manual because it's really, really simple. When you create a new model, it just walks you through step by step. It's been one of Hitec's strengths all the way through their 2.4 gig gear. They're really, really simple to use. And as I say, that's what you're buying to buy one of these. You're buying something that's simple. So if you're an older guy and you've only used long wire and you're looking at upgrading your old JR9303 or your Futaba 9C to something new, then hey, this will be one of the easiest transitions into computerized radios from the one you've got that you'll get. And if you're running old Kraft or Springbok gear or something like that, from the 1960s, then this will be by far and away the easiest transition you could make. So let's go over to the Flash 8. It looks very similar in many ways, but it has a soft switch. The Flash 7 has a slidey switch. This has a soft switch. You watch this. Whoa, look at that, eh? I just push the button, but it comes up again. Do you want to transmit yes or no? It's blue. If I select no, does it go to green? No, it doesn't. This has really confused me because on the 7, when this is green, it means you're not transmitting. But I chose no here. We're not transmitting, but it's still blue. So let's turn it off. Oh, that's right. You've got to hold it down. That flashes off and on and off and on. There we go. Let's turn it on again. Okay, it's blue. So let's select yes. We're transmitting. Oh, no, we've got throttle warning. It's still blue. Oh, man. This doesn't show the transmit status anymore. Why not? This is a more high-spec radio. It should go green or blue, depending on the setup you've got. So it's a bit disappointing. I was a bit kind of let down by that. But it's an 8-channel radio. It's got 1-2 position there, a 3 position there, a 3 position there, 2 position, 3 position, 3 position. So it's got many times more 3 position switches, another 3 position, and there's your momentary contact. So from the point of view of switches, this has just got a host more stuff. It's going to be much more useful if you're doing a lot of stuff like FPV, where you want to switch modes on your flight controller and you want to switch cameras off and on. This is going to be a much better radio. It still has the paddles, yay, with a nice firm detent. These are actually a little bit better than on the 7. For some reason, they just feel better. It has that LCD screen, but this one is a lot darker. If we put them side by side, I'll turn it off. Wait for it. Fireworks show there. Beep. Look at the difference between these two LCDs. Hopefully it'll show up on the camera. This is a really dark screen. That's a really light screen. When they're both powered up, of course, they come up pretty much the same. Just turn them both on so you can see. The backlight brings them up to, this is still brighter than this. This is quite a duller screen, which I would have thought more expensive radio, better screen. Why not? Who knows? Anyway, other benefits of this radio, on the back, you'll see we have some rubber. This is rubber, not all plastic all the way through. And if you peel the rubber back like this, then you've got the little screws, little holes in here which enable you to adjust the spring tensions and the ratchet, so you can convert from one mode to another, and you can adjust the tension on your sticks, because that's a really nice thing to do. With the Flash 7, you've got to take the back off to do that, which is a real lot of faffing around. See, there's no rubber, there's no removable part here on the Flash 7 as there is on the Flash 8. So that's another thing you're getting for your money, convenience and ease of use. Apart from that, the backs look pretty damn similar, except that this comes with an LiFe battery that are 18650 size cells. LiFe or lithium ion? Can't read it. It's one of the two. Anyway, so it comes with a rechargeable battery. That's also what you get for your money, extra stuff. And turn that off. You've got to hold that down a long time to turn it off. I guess it's so you don't bump it accidentally. Beep, it's off. Don't bump it accidentally and lose control of your model. So there you go. Those are the basic overviews of the transmitters. Now the antennas are a bit different too. As you can see, the antenna on the 7 is it's actually kind of a little bit cheap. This one, it sits up further from the transmitter, and it just feels a little bit better. I don't know why. Don't know why that is. And there's also more silvery, shiny stuff on this than on there. So that's what you're paying for. So there you go. Those are the two transmitters from the outside. Let's just have a quick look inside. See how well these things are put together because you're paying extra money. Do you get better build quality? Let's find out. Okay, there's 4 screws holding the back on. Not much really. And that should just lift out, hopefully. Here we go. That comes off. And I unplugged the battery in advance. There is one other lead, which is the antenna lead, which is going to be a real pain in the backside. So we can't actually, it doesn't seem to plug in, so we're stuck with having this sitting over here because the antenna lead is permanently wired through some goo. Actually, that's pretty bodge. The transmitter board's down here. We've got a cable that runs all the way from there, through here, up to the transmitter antenna. Yeah, I've seen better. Not the best configuration I've ever seen, but let's take a closer look at what's in here. See if we're going to get extra build quality for our money. Right, here are the stick units. As you can see, there is strain relief on these wires. These are key things to look for. The strain relief on these wires, they are held here and they pass through a thing here. So there's no actual strain on the connections themselves, but there's no heat shrink on there. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like a bit of heat shrink, but it's not going to break. The wires are not going to break. They're not going to pull off there. So that's okay. That's acceptable. Now we've got a little daughter board in here, which is for the little push-button switch behind there. And again, there's no strain relief on these wires. I mean, it's a small thing, and in theory, you shouldn't need strain relief because there's no load on these. And again, there's nothing on here on this pot for the slider. These are just bare wires. I mean, even the Chinese sometimes just whack a bit of glue on there just to give it a bit of relief. So I'd give this about a 6 out of 10, I'm afraid. It could be better. I was expecting a little bit more build quality, actually. I'm a little bit disappointed. And if we go over here, she gets pretty bodge over here. Look at all the hot snot they've poured on this. Again, it serves a purpose. It's strain relief, keeps these cables out of the way from getting tangled up, which is really, really good. But it's not a very elegant way of doing it. And you know, in a $50 Chinese radio, you expect this. In a branded Hitec product, I would like to see a little bit more in terms of quality. And I mean, this little daughter board here, it's a little bit, just doesn't really gel that well. I'm not totally impressed. Now, having said that, I have used this. It's worked flawlessly. It's working very, very well. I am very happy with it as a radio. But when you look inside, you just tend to think it wouldn't have taken much more work to make this a much better quality build, or that probably would have had to reflect in the price. So if we go down here to the transmitter board, as we can see, there's really nothing to 2.4 gigs these days. There's a little 2.4 gig controller there, antenna, a little bit of antenna matching, that's it. And there's a little microcontroller down here, which does some of the hard work. In fact, that might even be 2.4, I don't know, but it's just a separate module that could be replaced easily if necessary. Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, it's a build quality 6.5, 7, I suppose. The plastic's nice, nicely molded plastic. It's a nice ergonomic design. That brings it up a bit. So, yeah, what are my final thoughts? Okay, as I said, this is a radio that has a definite market. It's for old school guys, really. It's for people that have maybe just transitioning into the more computerized features of radios. It doesn't deliver as much bang per buck as something like the Taranis or the Turnigy 9X or the 9XR, but it does meet a need. If you really just don't want to have to learn about all this programming crap and you just want something that's really simple, I can set up a new model in this in about 35 seconds. That's how simple it is to set up. I don't think I've even opened the manuals, although just sort of glancing at them, they're very well written. Another bonus is the manuals for these things are excellent, simply superb, the best manuals I've seen in the industry. So if you're someone that doesn't cotton onto this computer stuff particularly easily, well, then this is a good radio for you. You would spend hours and hours and hours trying to get to grips with OpenTX and the FrSky and things. It just seems so intuitive, and it's the same across the whole range. The 7, the 8, and the Aurora 9. They're all the same. They're all so simple to use. So that's their big bonus. Also, one other thing that might be of interest to people, and if I had time, I'd do another video on this later on, is that these have an incredibly low latency when used with the not the Optima, the Maxima or Minima receivers. I can't remember which one it is. There's so many receivers you can use with these things. I've used them with the Optima, which is the top line receiver. I've used them with the Minima, I think it is, or the Optima. I've used the whole of them, and also they work with the FrSky Delta8, which is excellent. I think my little boat has the FrSky Delta8 in it, and it works just fine across a long distance of water. So, yeah, if you want something that's super simple and it works, and I like the way this works, and it's got sliders and things. In fact, if I had to choose between this and a Turnigy 9X, I'd take this. I would. Not because the Turnigy 9X is an inferior product, not because this gives you more bang for your buck, but because I just cannot fly without sliders anymore. It's certainly not fixed wing. Rotary wing, yes, of course I can, but fixed wing, I can't do it. I just have so many things I hook up to these sliders that I'd feel lost without them. In fact, my Turnigy 9X is sat there, hasn't been used for quite some time because my Taranis has these and I use them all the time. There you go. That's it. That's about it. Now, if you want to see how they work on 2.4, I did a video years ago when they first brought out the Hitec Aurora 9. And so you can have a look at that to see, but it's a good, it uses the 2.4 gig band pretty damn well. It'll do scan, it'll do the standard mode. Scan mode, don't really have any use for it. The standard mode is a much better option. So yeah, go and have a look at that video if you like. It's the Aurora 9X, and I actually, at the time, it was one of the best 2.4 gig systems on the market. It's still pretty damn good, but it has been superseded a little by the likes of the FrSky system, which the ACCST, which has just proven to be totally bulletproof over time. So there you go, the 7X, the Flash 7 and the Flash 8, both good radios if you value simplicity and ease of use over how much bang you get for your buck. I'm not giving these away. I'm keeping this one. I just love it. It's just a nice little radio. It really is a nice little radio. Okay, thank you for watching. If you've got questions, comments, put them on the bottom of the video in the space provided by YouTube. I'll do my best to answer them. I do have these here for a bit longer, so if you want to see anything specific, let me know. I'm rapidly running out of time before the end of the month, but I'll do my best to accommodate. I'll have a, what is it, the Optima or the Minima, the low latency one. If I get time, I'll drag it out and I'll just check and see what the latency is. Because as I say, if you're flying mini quads and you want super low latency, or anything that requires super low latency, this is probably one of the cheapest options to get that. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.